Locking in 500 shares. Let's see if we can go on down towards that VWAP area. We have yet to have a confirmation candle underneath the wedge. I want to see that sell off now. Let's go! Let's go! I'm going to take my gains, 571. So I'm actually doing 2 contracts right now. 2 contracts at this moment. We're back. Let's talk about it all. Let's get everyone all set, ready to go on this day. Happy Wednesday, traders. Happy Wednesday to absolutely everyone. Hope you guys are excited. Hope you guys are fired up. And I hope you guys are ready to rock and roll on this day because I am so excited as always. We got a couple stocks that we got to talk about right off the rip right now, right as we get going here, traders. So there's not much time to be goofing around. It is time to go right after this market. We do have MIMO at this moment that we are watching extremely closely. We do want to connect some of the dots here. We can see that MIMO is actually starting to get a little bit of a crack. This is a play that I'm actually very interested in to go after and short. I actually already did 2 different shorts on MIMO already. I am slightly in the red at this time. I actually did 1 short. I was able to make $100, and then another short I actually lost $300, but it looks like MIMO is just on the verge of getting that possible dump, getting that verge of that possible sell-off. Now, I am going to, I think, jump in on MIMO once again and try to get filled over on this play. And the reason why I want to get filled over on MIMO here is because I think it is going to get that nice big sell-off that I want. I think it's going to get that nice big drop that I really want. And the reason why I say that is because take a look at the past chart history pattern here. Past chart history pattern. What can we see out of MIMO? MIMO, I see we have a monster spike. It gives back all of its gains. I can see we have a monster spike. It gives back all of its gains. I can see we have a monster spike. It gives back all of its gains. It gives back all of its gains. It gives back all of its gains. So today, MIMO, I'm thinking it's going to be something similar, where we are going to see MIMO have some sort of spike, some sort of move, which we already have. We have a 245% move. And I would like to see MIMO get a nice big drop, get a nice big pullback, get some weakness on this play, fall back down to 20 cents or so. So MIMO, I am in on this play right now, just jumped in on it. And really what I want to be looking for is, this kind of like downtrend. As long as we stay underneath, I would say like these 2 lines. So just kind of making it very simple and very easy for you guys to understand what I'm looking for. Here's a little bit of an uptrend. We are cracking the uptrend. Then we have a downtrend at this moment, and we could go ahead and put that in black right here. Here's our downtrend. We might touch the purple line again. We might touch the black line, but we are on the bearish side of this trend line. And as long as we're on the bearish side of this trend line, there is an opportunity at any moment, this could come crashing on down and we could see a huge fade and we could see a huge drop. And what I'm really looking for when I take a look over on these plays here is I'm looking for that transition from the bullish side to the bearish side. I'm looking for that transition from the bullish side right here to the bearish side. I'm looking for that change from the bullish side to the bearish side, looking for that move from the bullish side to the bearish side. So that's really all I'm looking for when I'm taking a look over on these plays here. So we do have MIMO still trying to move up a little bit higher. Now you want to be asking yourself, Deck, was there any sort of news or any sort of reasoning on MIMO? And there was a little press release over on MIMO, which started getting a lot of this hype and attention. Airspan revolutionizes utilities market with groundbreaking end-to-end solution. So they're saying right here, we are entering this utility market with our groundbreaking end-to-end solution. And that's what got MIMO off the ground here. This play though, this stock is up 300%, the #1 top gainer on the day, and I'm looking for shorts on this play. If you look at any of the past chart history, we know it's known to give everything backs. Nailing the high is going to be tough, but be ready for a hard drop. Right now though, it is all buyers and we still have some more room to run. I'm personally going to be holding this play as long as we stay underneath these trend lines. So you can see what I'm looking for. Here's the uptrend, here's the new downtrend. As long as we stay underneath the purple line, I'm good to go. As long as we stay underneath the black line, I'm good to go. Worst case scenario, we get above the black line. Worst case scenario, we get above the purple line. That is where there will be trouble. That is where I will again be in trouble. And that's where I'm going to have to probably make a decision and say, okay, you know what? Time for me to get out. Time for me to move on. This obviously is not working the way that I want it to. So that is just something, a little heads up that I want every trader to realize. You have to have your limits of where you will be getting out, where you will be moving on, and you're not just holding and hoping for the best. But the reason why I'm so confident on this play is #1, it's up 250%. #2, every single spike led to a monster drop throughout the day. And number 3, if you guys have been trading for the last few days, you guys already realized that, have we seen any play hold its gains? We haven't seen one big spiker over the last week and a half. So I'm just assuming that if we keep up with this trend here, that we will see this one start dropping right back on down, just like all the other ones did. So that's kind of what I'm going with at this moment, and getting a nice little starting position right now to see if MIMO will be able to fade. Now, a little heads on up here, traders. You can see MIMO getting a little bit of a touch and a pop right at this area. If I see a confirmation candle above these 2 areas, unfortunately, that's it for me, and I'm moving on from this play. Team, you always have to have limits. The worst thing that you can do is say, ooh, I'm just going to keep on holding and hoping and holding and hoping and holding and hoping and holding and hoping. That's where you end up putting yourself in some big trouble. I know my trading, I can make back $1,000. You know what I can't make back in a day? Maybe a loss of $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. That's where I get myself more in trouble. So you just always have to realize, okay, what could I actually lose? And it's not going to affect my day in a negative manner. What could I actually lose that's not going to put myself in an awful position here? That's what you really got to break down. So I'm going to take my loss and move on from this play. I just want to accept that. I want to show that. And I want you guys to realize, why am I taking my loss? Because we are above the purple line and we are above the black line. That's where I said I was going to get out. That's where I'm going to get out. So starting the day slightly down at this moment, but you know what? There's a huge day ahead of us. Just wanted to go over my play and of course tell you guys exactly what I'm doing. Now, let's see what else we have going on with this day as well. What we have right here is NVDA. All right, so let's take a look. It says game plan today. NVDA, traders, NVDA needs no introduction. This was the #1 top gainer of 2023 and is already the #1 top gainer of 2024. Well, it has been nothing but a party. We must understand a big pullback will eventually happen on this play. It has too. We are now overbought with a 76 on the RSI. We have spiked nearly $100 in 9 days, and the higher it goes, the more profit taking there will be. Now, the positive is I believe we will see at least $580, and we are in a clear uptrend channel. As long as this channel holds, you should hold. Look to buy the bounces and lock in near the top. This has been the #1 top gainer the past few days, and it has been holding its channel the past few days. Now, let's talk about everything else that's going on with this state here. All right. So what is the market looking like? What are we focusing on here? We can see that the Dow futures fall 200 points for a 3rd day of declines. It says that stock futures are lower on Wednesday as yields continue to track higher, putting Wall Street on pace to build its losses from the previous session. Retail sales data for December came in stronger than expected, indicating a resilient consumer and putting aggressive rate cuts from the Federal Reserve into doubt. This is what I've been stating for how long, guys? I already told you a bajillion times. The Feds are going to say they're going to cut interest rates 6 times this year. I think we might cut interest rates 2 times, maybe 1 time, maybe no times at all. You know, I don't think we're cutting them at all in March, but now again, it's starting to settle in. Retail sales came in stronger. It's probably not going to be happening that we're going to be having Federal Reserve cuts. We're also seeing the 10-year Treasury yield was last higher over 4 basis points, continuing its rise from Tuesday after the Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Walling said easing monetary policy may come slower than anticipated. So we can basically see everything that I'm stating here. Things are getting weaker. Things are slowing on down. We're saying to ourselves, ooh, all right, I don't know if this is going to be able to hold on up. And that's why we are seeing this market slowly fade. All right. So want to stay ready on that. Going into today, what I am looking at on this day, traders, going into today, I'm looking at NVDA, I'm looking at MIMO, and I'm looking at, of course, SPX. Those are my top 3 plays going into this day. I'm definitely looking to attack. I'm definitely looking to make a few bucks. I'm definitely looking to be able to have a nice solid day of trading. That 35-cent mark could potentially be the high. If it breaks through 35 cents, that's where I think this thing could really start ripping and running even higher. If it starts going underneath 30 cents, it's probably done with. Here comes MIMO, traders. MIMO is still being a beast, coming on up towards 35 cents, just hit it, high of the day. MIMO, another little rejection right at 35 cents. So this play at this time, I'm going to get involved over on MIMO right now, starting to get re-involved back over on MIMO, just because I do think there is a ton of opportunity if MIMO can't break through 35 cents. So I am getting back involved over on this play right now, watching to see, can we fade all the way back down to the VWAP, eventually crack the VWAP, go all the way back down to the 200-day moving average. And we are looking to make back our early pre-market loss. We do know there's going to be a lot of support on this downtrend, and we will have support at the VWAP. 35 cents does line on up with what? It lines on up with the old spiking highs right here. And we are watching to see if MIMO can get ourselves back into the green area. That's going to be the main goal. Guys, MIMO getting a nice drop right now. We are almost back into the green. We did make back about half of our loss so far, and we're looking to see if this thing can just continuously fade on down, continuously drop, continuously get weaker. Nice job so far. Already seeing this thing fade and drop. We're currently only down 299 bucks, and we're going to see if this thing can keep on falling, keep on fading. Traders getting a little bit of a bounce play right now. I'm actually going to just take my profits at this moment and basically say, all right, Deck, you just made back $700. So I just made back $700, and now I'm in a more reasonable area to go green on the day. MIMO refuses to quit right now. MIMO had a spike, had a drop, refusing to quit, came on up towards 25 cents. Is MIMO about to squeeze here? I can imagine if MIMO breaks this little downtrend right now, it's going to try to squeeze all the way up towards like 37 cents. MIMO traders trying to break the lower highs and trying to run on up through 35 cents plus right now. We do know 35 cents is not going to be easy to break through, not going to be easy to get above. We just got a little rejected once again here. I'm staying ready on an MIMO short. If you go back underneath this downtrend, that's showing tons of weakness. MIMO is starting to turn pretty hard. I'm going to get involved in MIMO again, looking to see if this one is going to get that fade off, start dropping underneath 30 cents. We basically just ran on up towards a high and start getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Start fading on down towards the VWAP, start getting weaker, start getting that drop, trying to make back that loss on the day. So I might give it, 5 minutes or so and then, look to add a little bit more over on this play. Can you guys realize that a wedge is starting to set up? Can you guys connect the dots for the next sell-off? The next sell-off is going to be right here. Connect this low to this low to this low. And ladies and gentlemen, in the next 5 minutes or so, we're probably going to see a dramatic move where we do have a wedge setup at this time. And now with this wedge setup, we want to be ready to go for either a possible next leg on up again, or for that turn reversal and drop on down towards the VWAP. So just make sure that you guys are staying alert here. Make sure that you guys are ready as we are getting tighter and tighter and tighter inside that wedge. Right now, we got to get a confirmation candle underneath this wedge. We have yet to have a confirmation candle underneath the wedge. We are at the corner. We can only do maybe 1 more minute in this wedge until something has to happen. We have to either see a little bit of that rip on up, or we have to see a little bit of that, crack on down here. So we're starting to get a little crack. I'm actually going to add a little bit more shorts on MIMO right here because this should be the wedge here. This should be the sell-off. If it goes back above 30 cents, I might just say, nah, not worth it for me because it's supposed to crack the wedge and fall on off. I can see that the bids are at 29.81. I can see that the ask is at 29.90. All great things. We're doing absolutely fine at this moment. It might be just a little bit slower than what I wanted. Sometimes that happens. But you know what? If it starts going back above 30 cents, it's not worth it for me to hold. Let's see if we can start getting it a little bit more of a fade. Might start picking up some steam finally. Cracking 29, starting to pick up a little bit of steam here. Can we go underneath that VWAP? If we crack that VWAP, guys, things are going to start picking on up. I don't want to see this thing back on up towards 29 or 30. I want to see this thing fade and fall and drop and just get that weakness. And traders, look at this. Right back on up to where we started. All right. This play, not really doing it for me. Not really tickling my fancy at this moment. I'm just going to get out. Just not worth it right now. So one of the best movers as of now is actually DWAC, which of course we talked about is Trump stock. So how high can DWAC go up to? Ooh, guys, take a look. DWAC strong resistance at 25.90. So you guys can see DWAC, that's an old spiking high right there. DWAC definitely having some resistance at the moment. As long as it stays underneath the high of the day of 25.80, it would be a good potential short. DWAC does have a small uptrend at this time. DWAC starting to get weaker at this time. Let's see if we can get a confirmation candle on DWAC. I might look for some shorts over on DWAC at this time. They just got filled over on DWAC. Just got filled at 24.61 over on DWAC. I want to see if this can stay underneath this trend line. We just had a big lower shadow and actually just popped right back on up. We might be forming a new downtrend that will form in time. And we just want to make sure that we stay underneath some strong areas of resistance. That's all. If you're asking me and you're saying right now, Deck, okay, hey, Deck, you've been a full-time stock trader for the last 10 years. Why are you getting in? What algorithm, what math problem did you just do? Did you do some sort of E equals DWAC, MC squared, watching the indicator influx the reverb? No, I didn't do that. Oh, well, why did you jump in? I just saw that hit an old high here and an old high here, and now it is going to look maybe fall on down. Right? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Right, guys? That's what we want. They say the analogy in stock trading, KISS. Keep it stupid simple. That's what we want. DWAC is going to get that nice dump, nice fade, nice drop. Fade on down to the VWAP is going to be the goal. And if we could crack the VWAP, that would be even better. Somewhere in the $23 mark would be like where we want to start taking some profits. Best area, VWAP would be solid, but then we also have all the way down towards, 23.20 here, which would be very nice that we want to be looking at. Can we see this thing, fade all the way on down? Here we go, 320. We're at 320 at this moment. We're getting there slowly. Getting ourselves back on up there slowly here. Let's see if we can go on down towards that VWAP area. There's the VWAP. There's 920 bucks. Let's see if we crack the VWAP here, team. Just came on down to the VWAP. We're up 950 bucks. Let's see if we can crack this. Get a little bit of a bounce at this moment. 23.77, locking in 500 shares. I want to see that sell off now.
I want to see DWAC drop here.
Crack the VWAP. Get me paid 1,500 plus on the day. Back above 24 right now. Come on. Little bit of a bounce at this moment off that VWAP area. I'm going to take my gains, 571. I'm just going to take my gains, 571. Basically back to even right now. All eyes on SPX. Notice bounce play, bounce play, bounce play, bounce play. It's still fighting to stay alive. Still fighting to stay alive, but we need to hold this trend. If we start cracking underneath this trend, that is where things are going to start getting much uglier for us. SPX getting a little bit weaker now. Scroll on in on this chart. SPX team starting to drop a little bit. SPX, I'm jumping in. SPX, 4,730. I actually did not mean to do that contract. It's still okay. It's not bad. It'll still work out for me. But the thing is, I am on that contract right now, 4,730. And I actually want to do a contract at 4,740. One in the money as well, as things are starting to get weaker. So I'm actually doing 2 contracts right now. 2 contracts at this moment. One at 4,730, one at 4,740. Looking for the sell-off underneath this wedge. So notice we have this huge wedge right here. This wedge is starting to crack and this wedge is starting to go. I am looking for a big dump and a big sell-off. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go! So nice work so far, 4,740. I'm just going to sell this so I can just focus on one contract. I just want to focus on the SPX trade right here. This one, at this moment, 5 contracts. Be all set, ready to rock in case this one's still falling, team. Look at this one drop. Keep going. Pay daddy. Pay daddy. Pay him! Pay this man! Pay this man his money! Right now, let's see this one fall. Let's see this one drop. Notice how the SPY is cracking underneath this trend line. Traders, let's just fucking boom, baby. Boom! Up over $600 on the day. We basically just ran on up towards the high and started getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Here we go, 320. We're at 320 at this moment. SPX getting a little bit weaker now. Supposed to crack the wedge and fall on off. Can we go underneath that VWAP?